When Ruben Amorim was sacked as Manchester United manager in early January 2026, the club found itself in familiar chaos. The Portuguese tactician's tenure had been disappointing, with United languishing in 7th place and struggling to implement his preferred 3-4-3 formation that had brought him success at Sporting CP. The players appeared confused, the tactics disjointed, and results inconsistent. United had gone 8 games without a league defeat, but were failing to beat teams they were expected to overcome. Into this uncertain situation stepped Michael Carrick, the former United midfielder and club legend, appointed not as interim manager, but as head coach until the end of the season, a significant distinction that suggested the club's faith in his abilities. Carrick, who had spent nearly 3 seasons managing Middlesbrough in the Championship, was handed the reins with his first assignment being the Manchester derby against Pep Guardiola's title-chasing Manchester City on January 17, 2026. What followed was a remarkable 4-match winning streak that saw United beat the top 2 teams in the league, survive a dramatic comeback, and shut out Tottenham, all while climbing from 7th to 4th place and reigniting hopes of Champions League qualification. Carrick's first match against Manchester City on January 17, 2026 was a statement of intent that sent shockwaves through English football. His starting 11 featured Sene Lammens, Diogo Dalot, Harry Maguire, Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo, Amad Diallo, Bruno Fernandes, Patrick Dorgu, Bryan Mbeumo in a 4-2-3-1 formation. The most significant tactical decision was the immediate abandonment of Ruben Amorim's 3-4-3 system in favor of a traditional 4-back, a move that instantly provided more defensive solidity and better utilized United's personnel. Kobbie Mainoo, who hadn't started a Premier League match since May under Amorim, was restored to the starting lineup in central midfield alongside Casemiro, bringing the fluency and control that had been sorely missing. In attack, Carrick made bold choices, dropping Benjamin Sesko, who had scored 3 in his last 2, and Matheus Cunha to the bench, instead deploying Bryan Mbeumo as the central striker, with Amad and Dorgu flanking Bruno Fernandes. The tactical approach was clear: defensive organization first, then lethal counterattacks. Carrick implemented a compact 4-4-2 defensive shape when out of possession, with the wingers tucking in to reduce space between the lines. Precisely the kind of structural discipline that had been absent under Amorim's more expansive system. The defensive transformation was immediate and striking. Manchester City, despite their possession dominance, created almost nothing of substance. Erling Haaland, the Premier League's most feared striker, was reduced to just 14 touches, his quietest performance in years. Carrick's pressing structure was sophisticated. One forward, either Mbeumo or Fernandes, would mark holding midfielder Rodri using a cover shadow, while the other cut off the back pass to goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma. United applied targeted pressure on City's inexperienced left center-back, Max Allentine, filling in due to injuries to Joško Gvardiol, Ruben Dias, and John Stones, forcing him towards Nathan Ake, at which point Amad would press Ake diagonally, blocking his stronger right foot and forcing him wide onto his weaker side. The aggression and desire in United's defending had been lacking for months. Both Luke Shaw and Diogo Dalot received yellow cards in the opening 17 minutes for snapping challenges, while Lisandro Martinez could be found flying across his penalty area to block dangerous shots. After a goalless first hour, United's counter-attacking blueprint produced devastating results. In the 65th minute, a swift break saw Bruno Fernandes and Bryan Mbeumo combine perfectly, with Mbeumo finishing clinically for 1-0. 11 minutes later, substitute Matheus Cunha's burst down the right wing and low cross found Patrick Dorgu, who showed more hunger than City's defenders to sprint through the middle and tuck the ball away for 2-0. Old Trafford, which defender Lisandro Martinez said was the best I've known it in my time at the club, erupted in celebration. Carrick's second test came on January 25, 2026, an away trip to face Arsenal, the Premier leaders who were unbeaten at home all season and sitting 7 points clear at the top of the table.
This was United's toughest assignment, and Carrick retained the same starting 11 that had beaten City, showing faith in his system and players. Arsenal, managed by Martin Arteta and boasting new signings like Martin Zubimendi and Piero Hincapié, dominated the opening 30 minutes with relentless possession and pressure. Their attacking structure saw Declan Rice, Leandro Trossard, and Hincapié rotating on the left, dragging Amad Diallo back to defend, while Bukayo Saka attacked Luke Shaw 1v1 on the right, with Jurrien Timber making runs from deep inside him. Arsenal's high center-backs, supported by Zubimendi, locked United into their own half, and the pressure told when they took the lead in the 29th minute through Alessandro Martinez's own goal, a shambolic sequence that began with Dorgu failing to clear Hincapié's cross, Saka pouncing, and Martinez making a hash of his clearance under pressure from Timber. But United, to their immense credit, refused to buckle. Carrick had prepared them for exactly this scenario, telling them in his pre-match talk, "You knew at times we would be up against it, and we needed to dig in. We wanted to try and take control as well." Within 8 minutes of Arsenal's opener, United were level. Martin Zubimendi, Arsenal's summer signing from Real Sociedad, played a horrific back pass that Bryan Mbeumo pounced on, taking one touch to control, another to round David Raya, and the third to fire into an empty egg, for his 50th Premier League goal.
The second half of the Emirates Stadium showcased Carrick's tactical flexibility and his players' growing belief. United started brightly, placing central numbers between Arsenal's lines, with right-back Diogo Dalot moving inside as Amad held the width. Bruno Fernandes roamed from his number 10 space, allowing Patrick Dorgu to make runs inside from his left wing role. Just 5 minutes after the restart, Dorgu produced a moment of individual brilliance that vindicated Carrick's decision to move him from his usual defensive position into a more attacking role. Collecting a pass from Bruno Fernandes just outside the box, the 21-year-old took the ball down and hammered an outrageous left-footed effort that kissed the top of the crossbar before nestling in the roof of the net, a strike so spectacular that even Arsenal fans couldn't help but admire it. VAR checked for a possible handball in the build-up, but the evidence was inconclusive, and the goal stood. United now led 2-1 at the Emirates, and Arsenal were rattled. Arteta responded with a quadruple substitution, introducing Ben White, Victor Gyökeres, Eberechi Eze, and Michael Carrick in an attempt to turn the tide. Arsenal piled on the pressure, and with 6 minutes remaining, Merino bundled home from close range after Sene Lammens failed to catch Saka's corner. 2-2, and it looked like Arsenal might escape with a point despite their worst home performance of the season. But Carrick's United had developed a taste for late drama. Just 2 minutes and 58 seconds after Merino's equalizer, in the 87th minute, they struck the decisive blow. Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo combined to tee up Matheus Cunha, who had replaced Bryan Mbeumo earlier, and the Brazilian curled home a superb strike from 25 yards that flashed past Raya into the top corner. Old Trafford, or rather the 3,000 traveling United supporters in the away end, went wild. Cunha, who had been dropped for the City match, wheeled away in celebration of perhaps the biggest goal of his United career. The 3-2 victory was United's first at the Emirates since 2021, and Arsenal's first home defeat in 18 matches across all competitions since losing to Bournemouth in May 2025. More significantly, it ended Arsenal's 13-game unbeaten run in all competitions and reduced their title lead to just 4 points over Manchester City and Aston Villa. For Carrick, it was a second consecutive victory against one of the league's elite managers, first Guardiola, now Arteta. In his post-match comments, Carrick praised his team's character. "I am massively proud. It is very different from last week. 2 very different games. They put us under pressure in different ways, and we never had as much threat as we did last week. We understood the flow of the game." The victory moved United into 4th place, ahead of Chelsea and Liverpool, and just 12 points behind leaders Arsenal. Carrick's third match against Fulham at Old Trafford on February 1, 2026, presented a different challenge. Could United beat a well-organized mid-table team that would sit deeper and force them to break down a low block? This was precisely the type of match Amorim had struggled with throughout his tenure.
Carrick named an unchanged starting 11 for the third consecutive game, a sign of the stability and understanding that was developing in the team. The lineup was Sene Lammens, Diogo Dalot, Harry Maguire, Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, Kobbie Mainoo, Casemiro, Amad Diallo, Bruno Fernandes, replacing the injured Dorgu, Bryan Mbeumo. The match began with controversy when United were initially awarded a penalty after Matheus Cunha was judged to have been brought down by Jorge Cuenca. However, following a VAR review, the decision was overturned. The offense occurred just outside the box, and referee John Brooks corrected his original decision to a free kick on the edge of the area. Later, when Bruno Fernandes clipped over the free kick for Casemiro to powerfully head home in the 19th minute, the Brazilian midfielder, who had been criticized heavily during his time at Old Trafford and was set to leave at the end of the season, was showing under Carrick what he was still capable of. Playing in a deeper role alongside Kobbie Mainoo, Casemiro was dominant, winning duels, making interceptions, and dictating tempo. United doubled their lead early in the second half through a moment of Brazilian magic. In the 56th minute, Casemiro turned provider with an exceptional no-look pass that threaded the needle into the box, finding Matheus Cunha in stride. The forward, without breaking his momentum, unleashed a strike that rocketed into the top corner past Bernd Leno, a goal of such quality that showcased why Wolves had been so reluctant to sell him in the summer. At 2-0 up, United appeared comfortable, but they nearly made it 3. When substitute Benjamin Sesko, who had replaced Matheus Cunha, headed against the woodbrink from close range. That miss would prove costly. In the 85th minute, Harry Maguire brought down Raul Jimenez in the box, and the Mexican striker, who had a perfect 100% penalty record in Premier League history, converted from the spot to make it 2-1. Fulham now had hope, and they seized it spectacularly in the 91st minute when substitute Kevin collected a return pass, darted in from the left, and bent the ball home brilliantly to make it 2-2. Old Trafford held its breath. Had United thrown away a 2-goal lead and the chance to make it 3? The answer came swiftly and emphatically. In the 4th minute of stoppage time, 94th minute overall, United produced one final moment of quality. Bruno Fernandes, who had been orchestrating everything all afternoon, whipped in a cross that found Benjamin Sesko in the center of the box. The young Slovenian striker, who had been brought on to provide fresh legs and a physical presence, showed remarkable composure. He took a touch to control the ball, turned his marker, and hammered a right-footed shot into the top right corner, upper 90 as they say. Old Trafford exploded in celebration. Sesko wheeled away, arms aloft, as his teammates mobbed him in front of the Stretford end. The 3-2 victory was secured, and Carrick had his third consecutive win. In his post-match comments, Carrick was effusive in his praise of Sesko. Huge moment. I'm so pleased, as is everyone. The changing room, the players, the staff, absolutely delighted. And the reception he got when he came back from the changing room kind of told us everything. I'm just so delighted for him, and he totally deserves it. He's been fantastic since I came here. He will remember that feeling for quite some time. The victory moved United above Chelsea and Liverpool into 4th place, 5 points behind 3rd-placed Aston Villa. Statistically, Sesko's goal was United's second 90th-minute winner at home this season, after Bruno Fernandes versus Burnley in August, as many as they had scored in the previous 3 seasons combined.
Carrick's 4th match was February 7, 2026 against Tottenham Hotspur at Old Trafford, the same ground where United had produced their previous heroics. With the winning momentum building and confidence sky-high, Carrick named an unchanged 11 for the 4th consecutive game, a remarkable show of faith in his players and system. Tottenham Hotspur, managed by Thomas Frank and struggling with injuries and poor form. The match took a decisive turn in the 29th minute when Christian Romero, Tottenham's captain and center-back, was sent off for a reckless challenge on Casemiro. Romero, who had already made headlines earlier in the week with a social media rant about Tottenham's injury crisis, got to the ball first, but his follow-through connected dangerously with Casemiro's ankle. Referee Michael Oliver showed no hesitation in brandishing the red card, and suddenly United had a man advantage for over an hour of football. It was Romero's 6th red card in all competitions since joining Tottenham in August 2021, more than any other player in the Premier League during that period.
Playing against 10 men, United demonstrated their tactical maturity and patience. Rather than overcommit and leave themselves exposed to counterattacks, Carrick's side maintained their disciplined shape while gradually increasing the pressure. In the 38th minute, United's set-piece routine, worked on meticulously in training, produced the opening goal. Bruno Fernandes played a short free kick to Kobbie Mainoo on the byline, and the midfielder quickly pulled the ball back toward the edge of the box, where Mbeumo met it with a precise side-footed finish through the crowded penalty area and into the bottom right corner. It was Mbeumo's 8th goal for United this season, notably his 5th against Big Six opposition: Liverpool away, Tottenham away, Manchester City home, Arsenal away, and now Tottenham home. A remarkable record that showcased his ability to perform in the biggest matches. Tottenham, reduced to 10 men and trailing, tried to respond, with the lively Xavi Simons slamming an effort narrowly wide. Their task became even harder when United controlled the second half with comfort, with goalkeeper Guglielmo Vicario producing impressive stops to deny Luke Shaw, Diogo Dalot, and Casemiro from a close-range header. There were penalty appeals when Harry Maguire's blocking attempt saw the ball strike his hand, but referee Michael Oliver waved them away, and VAR agreed. The clinching goal came in the 81st minute, and it was a moment of individual quality from Bruno Fernandes. The Portuguese captain, who had been pulling the strings all afternoon, controlled the ball inside the penalty area, unleashed a shot with his right foot, and found the back of the net past Vicario to make it 2-0. The goal was Fernandes's 104th in the Premier League for Manchester United, reaching this milestone in just 314 games, the second fastest in the club's Premier League era, behind only Wayne Rooney, 295 games. It also took Fernandes to 200 total goal involvements, 104 goals, 96 assists in the Premier League for United, cementing his status as one of the most productive players in the club's modern history. The final whistle confirmed a 2-0 victory, United's 4th consecutive win under Carrick, a clean sheet, only their 2nd of the entire season before his arrival, and a performance that showcased everything the new head coach had implemented: defensive solidity, tactical discipline, clinical finishing, and game management. The victory moved United to 44 points, tightening their grip on 4th place and moving them within touching stone of 3rd place Aston Villa. Perhaps most remarkably, Carrick had now won 4 of his 5 Premier League matches in charge of Manchester United, including his 2021 caretaker stint, making him only the 3rd manager to achieve this feat at the club, alongside legendary figures Matt Busby, 1946, and Ole Solskjaer, 2019. The transformation from Amorim's confusion to Carrick's clarity was complete, and United fans were daring to dream once again of Champions League football. Carrick, characteristically humble, refused to get carried away. "I am not being fooled into thinking we've cracked it. We have a lot of work to do, but the belief, the energy, the connection with the supporters is special, and we need to keep building on it."